Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Guys, want to share with you another amazing Invicta watch. This watch is kind of, I hate using the term holy grail or grail watch because I don't really, there's not many things that I absolutely have to have. I did see this one when it came out, and I think it came out roughly, don't quote me on this, maybe 2 years ago, and that is, man, I'll tell you, this one here, I never thought I'd get this in my collection. This is the Master Calendar Venom Hybrid or Fusion. Friggin' Invicta with their names. It was the Hybrid, and I believe they're referring to it as the Fusion. Man, I'll tell you, this is the blingiest watch that I have in my collection, I think anyway. And I have some pretty blinged out watches. This is the two-tone, mirror-polished, yellow-gold, rose-tone combo Master Calendar Invicta Reserve Venom Hybrid. Man, this is, in my opinion, one of the nicest watches that Invicta makes. Invicta makes a lot of amazing watches, right? They're always coming up with something over the top. This one here, I knew when I first saw this watch that I had to have it. Now, I do have this watch, again, in this variation here, the yellow tone gold with the blue. I settled on this watch. This blue is not my favorite color when it comes to the watch face. I'd much rather a black. But I bought this watch because at the time, this watch came down to about 350 bucks. And I know guys who spent over $1,000 for one of these when they first came out. This to me is one of the first watches Invicta came out that really was like, wow, they killed it with that watch. And you guys know, they've been creating amazing watches forever. But when this watch came out, it was just, I remember one of my buddies was like, I gotta get it. And some guys, supply and demand, they were selling it for a lot more than you can actually get it for nowadays. Remember, when it first came out, they only made one. They made the stainless steel version, and I believe that was it, with like a black face, a little bit of aqua accents. That was it. And it sold out everywhere. They knew how popular the watch is, so over time, they've created a lot of different variations. And I picked this one up because the price was pretty competitive. Now, since then, since I even got this one, the price has really come down quite a bit. You can pick these up for a lot less, but it's still a great watch for the collection. But this watch, man, you really just can't go wrong. If you're a flashy guy and you like flashy stuff, you really can't go wrong with that mirror polished finish. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you guys know one of my most favorite color combinations in a watch is that two-tone yellow and rose. And what I love about it is that it's a very subtle difference. I'm not really a huge rose tone fan, but when you combine it with that yellow gold, it really is it's just dripping. I mean, if you got the drip with this, it is just dripping with gold. It is gold on gold, and it is a stunning piece. Now, these watches, I'll tell you right now, when you're looking for this color combination, Invicta doesn't make a lot of gold on gold combinations like this. Generally, you see the two tones, rose and silver, yellow and silver. You'll see the full rose or the full yellow gold, but they don't make a lot of variations or a lot of color combination with this particular variant. Now, I do have this watch and they've never made it since I picked it up. I did get it as a floor model. You guys know my experience with that, but this was one of the good ones. It's two-tone, same thing, Grand Octane. And it's one of my favorite watches in the collection. When I saw this come out, I said, that thing is going to sell out. And it did. And these things were going for about $700-800 bucks. The cheapest I've seen these was about $600. And recently on eBay, you're looking about over $500. Guys, this is not going to last, and I was really skeptical on whether or not I was actually going to get this in the mail. Sometimes with Invicta stores, I've had experience in the past where you order it, and next thing you know, 2 weeks goes by, they're going to send it out, and then it sells out. And I think sometimes they oversell. With this, I'm just surprised after 10 days that this watch is still not sold out. Guys, get this, $279 shipped to your door with Invicta stores. Again, links in description. You've probably seen a pop-up somewhere up here throughout this video. Guys, this is not going to last. Now, they don't show how many of these they have in stock, but I don't think this is going to last long. I don't know how many they made, but a lot of times with Invicta stores, you'll see these super popular models pop up, and they only have a few of them, and then they're gone. So, I'm a firm believer, if you see something you like, get it while you can. If the price is right, and the price is amazing on this. Forget a hybrid for that price. It's good no matter what color it is. For $279 for the two-tone, it's amazing. And just look at this. This thing is just dripping with gold. You know, I don't think there's really any flashier color combinations. I got plenty of color combinations in my collection, and I'll tell you that there's really nothing quite like this two-tone. It is absolutely incredible. Like I said, it is very subtle, but it is noticeable, and it really sets the watch off from just being a gold watch, right? What I also like about it, I love the face. It's very clean. It's got rose and gold as well, very similar to the face on my Grand Octane. Again, when you're talking about the blue one, again, this is still a gorgeous watch, but I think that they just really knocked it out of the park with everything about this watch. And again, that mirror polished finish, I mean, just look at it. What I love about the contrast, and what I love about what Invicta does, is that a lot of times, even on a watch that's just plain old gold, like this watch, they generally will, let me go back to this here, they generally, most of the time, will do different variants in the finishing. So even though you have just a plain old gold watch, I say that loosely, you know, you still have like a sandblasted finish on the inside of the case, inside the cradle, right? And then you have that brush finish on the outside. You have a little bit of mirror polishing around the bezel. And so all those little differences help to take away that it's just a gold watch, right? It helps to emphasize or give emphasis to some of the different design aspects. Like this, there's a nice separation between the bezel and the case. You notice the bezel more. You notice the band more because of that variation. It is just a stunning watch, and I'm just shocked that I got this. So let me, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the wrist, of course, like I always do. I'm going to try in these videos to when I'm talking to you guys, show the watch a little bit more. I know you guys come here to see the watch, and a lot of times I do talk and then show you the watch briefly. I guess my mindset is, there's so many pictures online where you can see close-ups. You don't really need to come to this video to see close-ups of the watch. You want to see what it looks like on the wrist. That's what I kind of pride myself on with these Invicta reviews or any watch reviews, showing you what it looks like on a guy my size, my height, and weight, and gives you an idea of what it might look like on you. But I am going to try, because I know some, like I said, some of you guys really want to see the watch more. I will try to make a better effort to keep the watch in the frame. So, man, it is just stunning. And again, like I said, I never thought I'd actually have this because, again, the price was, you know, in the 7/8s. And, you know, Invicta collectors, we're fanatical. You know, even though that this technically isn't an $800 watch, right? And we know the MSRP and what they do. Again, a lot of companies do it, but we know you're not going to pay that for it, right? But when there's a hot item that's really unique and going to sell out, it's almost like it becomes limited, where they keep the price up and they know they're going to sell them out. I'm really surprised that this watch came up for $279. Now, maybe they made a whole bunch of them and maybe they're just not selling. Not sure. It's really kind of hit or miss with Invicta on what sells out and what doesn't. But either way, I am just flabbergasted. I don't have a lot of mirror polished watches in my collection. I do have a all yellow gold with rose tone bezel standard Venom. And for those of you who don't know about this watch, and you know, again, you might see it's called the Hybrid, you might see it called the Fusion. Some of you who don't know, what this watch is a combination of several different watches by Invicta. It's their very first collaboration watch that they did, which is using different parts from different watches. So what do we have in this watch? So what we mainly have is the case and bracelet of the Sub Aqua Specialty, one of my favorite watches as well. As far as the function pushers, we have the function pushers in crown, which utilizes butterfly type crown. You can see these two tabs fold like so. From the Sub Aqua Noma 5. Again, my favorite Sub Aqua Noma they've ever made. The function pushers are actually what I call retractable function pushers. So when we turn the dial or the wheel, it actually extends that function pusher. And when we bring it back, it retracts it. So really interesting design. They don't do it like that on many of their watches. Then, of course, we have, again, a standard Ronda movement, but this is the Master Calendar movement, which is, to me, my favorite Ronda movement that they make. I love this particular movement. And then, of course, we have the bezel from the Venom 2. Now, what's interesting is the Venom 2 really was only made for a very short amount of time. I actually had one, and the only difference was it was still an all Venom watch, just with that redesigned, very chiseled, very aggressive looking bezel. I think it's a real improvement. I kind of consider this bezel very similar to what I say about the Sea Hunter 3 when they changed from the Generation 2 to Sea Hunter 3 with that gear edged bezel. It was a huge improvement over the watch, and I love the way this bezel looks. It's very aggressive, very chiseled. It's very cool. Now, they do call this the Venom Hybrid, which I always thought was really kind of confusing because when us Invicta collectors, we know our Invictas, right? When you think of Venom, you don't think of this watch. We think of your standard Venom watch, which I should have one now, but I don't. I should have one on frame, but I don't. But you guys know what they look like. The only thing that this thing shares with a Venom is the bezel, and it's only from the Venom 2, which they only made for a moment. Again, I had that watch. There was a video on this channel showcasing the Venom 2, and I ended up selling my Venom 2 because I got this watch, because in my opinion, this is just I liked it a lot more, and I figured if I'm going to have that really cool bezel, I want to have it on the hybrid. Really what they should call this is a Sub-Aqua Specialty Hybrid, because most of the watch here is of course from the Sub-Aqua Specialty. Again, you have the case and bracelet completely from the Sub-Aqua Specialty. The only thing that this has, it's not a Sub-Aqua Specialty, is that bezel from the Venom 2, and of course the function pushers and crown from the Sub-Aqua Noma 5. Guys, this is I'm ecstatic. So before I show you guys what it looks like on the wrist, let me just read the basics on this here. It says here the dial color is a white, champagne, and rose gold. I think that's pretty accurate. It does kind of have a champagne-ish, goldish kind of color, and champagne does have kind of like that hue. It does have some mother of pearl on it as well. Very, very slight, kind of in between the side dial, the edge of the dial, and of course those other complications. I don't think it's something you really notice. You more notice the champagne dial and all the different master calendar dials on this, which is pretty cool. And rose gold, of course. Dial material is, they say, metal, mother of pearl, and oyster, which I'm not sure what that means. I think mother of pearl is just, it's mother of pearl and metal. You know, the case tone is gold and rose gold, as you can see. Unidirectional rotating bezel. Again, I like to just demonstrate for any of you who, you know, again, I always joke, the guy is like, oh, turn the bezel on a Rolex and you'll see the difference. Absolute nonsense. This bezel feels as good as any bezel I've ever felt on any watch. You know, Aquadive, Doxa, whatever you pick, this bezel's fantastic. There's no back play in it. It's nice and snug. It's easy to turn. It's smooth. There's no issues there at all. Screw down function pushers and screw down crown, of course. Luminous color is white. Now, I will tell you that on the Invicta watches that I've seen, the lume is never all that great. I can barely see it, but you don't buy these watches for the lume. You buy them for the look, right, and the quality and all the cool features you're getting. And then as far as the specifics on measurements here, they have it listed here as a 51mm case size. I've seen these listed as 52.5 as well. We're pretty close. Let's not split hairs. And this is the 5040F Master Calendar Movement. It is a Quartz Swiss watch, which I think that this watch, let me see if it says it. Sometimes people are kind of concerned with whether or not it says Swiss made. This does not say Swiss made, and I'm glad that they're starting to leave it off on some of the watches, because who cares, right? It's meaningless. Whether this watch is Swiss made is a meaningless designation nowadays. It is completely meaningless. You don't have to have Swiss made to get quality. Standard clasp. I'm not going to get too involved in this. You have standard non-locking fold over friction clasp. That's pretty standard. I'm not going to go through all these specifics. What's most important, again, is that diameter 51mm, and of course the case thickness, I think it's about 22, 23, but don't quote me on that. It's just a tank of a watch. This is one of my favorite watches. Again, it's got such a nice wrist presence. It's high, it's chunky, it's beefy. It's just so much going on with it. It's really one of my most favorite designs that Invicta makes. And now that I got it in this two-tone, man, this is a watch. I don't care where you go, you're going to turn heads with this. Now, some of you may not want that, then maybe you shouldn't buy a big, giant, flashy watch. But for a watch like this, if you're stylish and you like to show off and you know, wear things that people notice, you know, again, I always say do things for you. If you don't like this, don't buy it for other people. But it's your money, do what you want to do. But for me, I love wearing a watch like this. It is just, this watch is going to have people ask you, what is that? It's just, it's going to draw people in. And it's the reason why people buy Invicta watches like this, right? So let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. Now, I'm about 5'7.5". I weigh about 178 pounds, and I have a 7-inch wrist. So this is what a watch this size is going to, oh my God, it's going to look like a guy my size. Now, just be noted, remember, anytime you get mirror polished, it does scratch easier. A watch like this I've had for, I think, about 4 or 5 years now. There's like no nicks or scratches in it. And depending on the clothing that you wear, I always wear, you know, well, I shouldn't say always, but a lot of my leather jackets, of course, have that button, that kind of button cuff. That does kind of create a little bit of wear, and a lot of my watches, you'll see over time that starts to get a little bit of a bracelet wear, kind of higher up on the bracelet, whereas most people generally will scratch their watches at the bottom of the cuff. You know, like I said, you know, depending on what you're doing, how you work. I have a glass desk in my office. Generally, when I'm at my desk, I will back up a little. I'll take my watch off because glass is pretty hard, and you can scratch watches like that. So I just kind of use good practices in trying to preserve my watches. But they are meant to be worn. They are meant to be enjoyed. And this watch is it's just a stunner. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. Now, like I said again, you know, you're going to scratch. No matter how careful you are, you're going to put fine scratches in anything mirror polish. That's just the nature of the beast. If it's something that really concerns you, they don't make this in a matte finish, nor would I have bought it if they did. But I'll tell you, the Invicta finishes are pretty amazing. I have other, you know, mirror polished watches, and yes, you do get some fine scratches, but nothing that really makes the watch start, you know, look crummy. You know, from a distance, you can't even see them. And I mean, this watch, I mean, get it to enjoy. I mean, they're affordable, so you don't have to. You're not spending $50,000 on one of these where you have to worry about it or worry about getting my money back. You get it, you enjoy it. If you decide you don't wear it anymore, like some of my other Invictas, you know, if the ones I bought in the beginning that I, you know, bought and just, you know, get something else I like more or wear more, you know, you can always sell them, and you may get your money back. You may make a little bit, but you're not really, even if you have to take a little bit of a loss to move on and get something else, you're not going to take much of a loss, you know. They do hold their value. There's always some watch that some new collector or somebody who's, you know, got their eye on something, got hot for a watch, they're going to want it in their collection. So I just, you know, feel good about buying these. Don't worry about it. Wear them, enjoy them, feel good about it. And I mean, oh my God, look at that thing. Like I said, I'm so excited because I never thought I'd have this one. Because you guys know I'm pretty frugal. I know what things cost, like most people do. You know, I mean, I'm not going to get ripped off on something just because I fall in love with it. You know, and this watch is one that I fell in love with. But again, that price, I wasn't going to spend that much because realistically, this is a $300 give or take watch. And if you're paying more for it, you are paying too much for it. But again, it just depends on how bad you want it. I didn't want it bad enough to go. Oh my God, I don't know how I didn't. I didn't want it bad enough to actually spend $700 for it. But with this price, I ended up selling a couple Invictas. Ones I didn't even wear. It was basically a wash for me. So get it while you can. If you like gold on gold, this is not going to last. I put up Facebook posts. I put a YouTube kind of post on a video, letting people know, here's a link, get this while you can, and I'm shocked that it's still available. Now, just one thing I want to mention, this Ronda movement is a 13 jewel movement, which is great because automatics generally have jewels on moving points. Some Rondas have 1 jewel, 2 jewels, 13 jewels. So you're getting a movement that, I mean, quartz, super reliable. And with the jewels, you're getting a movement that's going to last you a lifetime. I mean, really. I mean, anything can fail, but I mean, these are pretty incredible movements, and Ronda's a pretty incredible company, and that's why Invicta uses these movements. So, man. Guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope that was as enjoyable for you to watch as it is for me to be wearing this. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to ask. It's time for me to go hit the gym and get a protein shake and finish my day. Again, though, I'm always on my phone, so if you guys need anything, questions, whatever, need the link, although it will be in the description. I'm going to try to release this video ASAP. Just to be noted, too, around Christmas time, I was uploading every single day. Those don't know now, I'm uploading only on Sundays. You still might see the random weekly video, depending on what company reaches out and who I'm working with. I'll usually try to put those on Wednesdays. So that's it, guys. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day and take care.